Hello, my fellow chiropractors out there. I think we've got almost 5,000 friends, and I think 4,800 or 4,900 are chiropractors. And I set it up that way. I wanted to have the ability to talk and hang out with chiropractors, which I love. So, hey, Jim Doherty, good to see you over there in Baldwinsville. So today I wanted to talk about the mindset of the adjustment. I think it's something that we all need to maybe think about for a moment and think about what's really happening, especially you've been in practice for a while and you're adjusting a lot of people, and maybe for somebody who hasn't been in practice very long. You know, when you think about what Dee Dee was doing, and you think about what B.J. Palmer was doing, and you think about what Mabel was doing, and you think about what Ralph Stevenson was writing about. You know, what these guys were doing they were trying to connect themselves to the why, to the curiosity of life. Why I say that is because I was just reading some research on Albert Einstein this weekend, and it was interesting. One of his quotes was, he said, "I'm not really smarter than anyone. I just have a passionate curiosity. I just have this unbelievable curiosity. I feel compelled to know why something is the way it is." And, Einstein talked about the 1%, that 99% of people walk around just day to day and don't really give much thought. And then you got that 1% are like, wow, why is the sky blue? And why is a leaf green? And how does a tree make carbon dioxide? And, all of a sudden there's that curiosity of understanding why. And that's who Dee Dee Palmer was. Dee Dee Palmer was a man who had just had a burning desire to understand why. Like, it wasn't enough for him to know what he knew. And every time he knew something deeper, he wanted to know it even further. He wanted to know it deeper. See, what they were trying to discover and what they were trying to connect themselves with, and it really is profound if you think about it. And it changes the mindset, I think, in your practice, certainly at the table. What they were trying to discover is life. Where does life come from? It's a question today that the greatest minds and the greatest scientists haven't figured out. Where does consciousness come from? What is the brain making? Where does it come from? How does it animate a tissue? How does your brain message, your mental impulse, connect to a protein molecule and tell it what to do? I mean, there's studies in science that show that the electrical, chemical message from your brain moves protein molecules at a greater degree than you could do chemically in a lab. I mean, that's unbelievable. And it can instruct a protein molecule to turn left or turn right, or to turn itself on or turn itself off. I mean, that is unbelievable when you study that, when you research that. Not that Dee Dee understood all that, but he did understand that there was a biomolecular environment within the body, within the cell, and that the brain, the message, the signals would communicate to the tissues of the body, and tell the body what to do. And they, looking at it from a universal intelligence, one part of the universe, right? That omnipresent, that one aspect of intelligence and energy and force, which is that triune, right? They understood it as communicating through the body, through the spine, and through the nervous system. And that if the spine was not functioning at its optimum, stuck, crooked, it would impinge, as we all know, interfere, and as a result, press on those nerves, and then those nerves don't communicate to the body as well as they're supposed to. Unbelievable. That's what so they looked at it, said there's less expression of life. And even deeper than that, there's less expression of God. There's less expression of what creates us. Now, some people early on in the beginning of chiropractic, they were personified God, right? So they looked at God as a like us, if you will. Other people looked at it as like an omnipresent, maybe an energy, a force, something that they didn't fully understand. But regardless, that force, that vital force, that energy expresses itself through the body. Now, so step back for a minute. If you look at a car and you took a car apart, and you took it apart perfectly, right to every nut and bolt and washer, and then you put the car back together, if you do it correctly, you see the car would start perfectly and run perfectly. But if you took a human body with the greatest scientists there are and the greatest surgeons there are, and if I take a human body apart to all the organs and I lay it out on a table, and then I put it all back together, the body doesn't start again. That vital force left the body. And why is that important to understand? That's so critical to understand because you are more than the sum of your parts. If I take away that vital force, you're no longer you. You become decomposed dirt, earth. You decompose. You're no longer here. So not only does that presence keep you alive, that presence keeps you organized. That presence makes sure the proteins are where they're supposed to be and the carbohydrates are where they're supposed to be, and it ensures my eyeball stays an eyeball and my hair cell stays a hair cell. I mean, they're constantly communicating to the body, giving that expression, and they feel as though that when that because God speaks to the body, or that is a part of the universe expressing itself in the body, if that's a different way to say it, that the adjustment, you ready for this word? And I don't even mean it in a religious way, but the adjustment is sacred, that it's a sacrament, that it's sacred to adjust somebody, because you are literally removing interference. You are literally having some form of a relationship with God or the power of the universe, or whatever your belief system is, that there's a power greater than us, and that when the spine is not working properly, the expression of that is diminished. So that when you're adjusting somebody, you're literally having a relationship, a conversation with our Creator. So they looked at the adjustment as sacred. They look at the adjustment as something far beyond a routine, if you will, action, a non-therapeutic action. They looked at it as what? An adjustment. That's why they were so clear on the words of a subluxation, a presence, an entity that would diminish the light, the expression, the divinity, a flow of information that would go into the body, that person was less connected. B.J. Palmer talked about that chiropractic, you ready for this? Chiropractic would speed up the evolution of human consciousness. I mean, he looked at it. Now, you read some of the stuff recently, Heidi Havoc, for example. When you're subluxated and you get one adjustment, it increases prefrontal cortex activity by 20%. Carrick talked a lot about that research back in the 1990s. So we know that as afferent flow, sensory input into the brainstem, into the body, into the cerebellum that goes into the brain is diminished, the brain loses its efficiency. It loses its ability to recruit efficiently neurons. So therefore the brain doesn't work as well. So when we look at that and we realize, wow, there's a vital force, a vital energy in the body, when we're subluxated, that vital force is diminished. And that when you adjust somebody, you're literally having a conversation with God, with our Creator, with that vital force. And that you're working, if you will, in a participation. It's a participation with that individual, with a power greater than ourselves. Then the adjustment becomes more significant. Then what you do is more significant. I'm not running room to room and just putting my hands on people. I'm not running room to room for therapeutic or only therapy, even though it's therapeutic to adjust somebody. I get that logic, and I'm not diminishing that. But it's so much greater than that. It's literally like, hey, I could use my cell phone to make a phone call. I got an iPhone, whatever, the newer one, right? I could use it to make a phone call, right? Never knowing that it had all those other abilities within the phone. So you could run room to room and adjust people and make a great living and help people, certainly out of pain and such. I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I'm saying you could go room to room and you could adjust people and get their organs working better and their body working better and lower their sympathetic activity and increase vagal tone. You could do that too. You could do that, right? But boy, if you're going room to room and you're doing all that plus you feel like, wow, what I'm doing is sacred. What I'm doing is actually reconnecting, if you will, man the body to man the spirit. Man the body, the material portion of our body, the molecules, the atoms, all of that. But I'm reconnecting that or improving the connection to our Creator. I'm reconnecting that to the energy of the universe, the intelligence of the universe, the force of the universe. Like I'm actually participating to some degree to allow, if you will, the body to work better and be a better expression of what the universe had intended. Like all of a sudden, man, what I do is sacred. What I do is important. You know what I mean? Kind of like a garbage man. I'm cleaning up the trash. You know what I mean? I'm making the whole body work better. I'm making the whole body connect better. I'm kind of like the Verizon or cable guy, right? I'm allowing everything to communicate better. But at the same time, I'm doing it from a standpoint that is humble and appreciative. And again, in a participation with a force and energy and intelligence far greater than myself. That's a mindset shift. That means what I do in that room. And listen, they never get it. They're never going to get it. One of my favorite phrases in coaching, they never get it. No one ever gets it. Hell, we don't get it well enough, right? But I'll tell you, by studying it and reading it and learning it to that degree, the more you get it, the more they'll get it. The more you are committed to what you do, the more they'll be more committed to what they do. And all of a sudden, people just start showing up because they know what you do is powerful and significant and life-changing. And it improves the quality of their life as well as the quality of their family, as far as the quality of the world. I mean, you know, I'll end here. There's a great story of a bricklayer, and somebody came up and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he says, "I'm laying bricks. I'm making a wall." Right? And so that's a guy that goes to work. He tries to make a nice wall. And then they ask another guy at the same job, they said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Hey, I'm helping to build a church. It's going to be great. You know, my family and I can enjoy ourselves here at the church." And so that guy's going to work, and he's got a little bit more of a purpose. He's got a little bit different vision, right? His enthusiasm, his excitement is a little different. And then they asked the last guy, and they said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He says, "You know what? I'm making a difference. I'm making the world a better place." They're all Masons. He says, "How's that?" He says, "Well, you see, I'm building a wall to build a church, and this church is going to worship God. And this church that worships God, people are going to come from all over the world to this church, and it's going to make their life better. And they're going to become better people, and as a result, the world's going to be better." So what I'm doing right now today, when I go to the office every day, or when I go to the job site every day as a Mason, I'm making the world a better place. So if you start thinking that way in practice, if you start realizing, wow, everybody I touch, I'm reconnecting them to the Spirit, to God, to the universe, to the intelligence, to the force that runs us, as well as making them feel better and their backache doesn't hurt anymore. I'm not minimizing that either. There's value there too, right? But man, if you went there, and I'm not just making the back better, and I'm not just making them feel better, but I'm actually making the world a better place because they're going to be healthier and they're better connected to the Spirit of the universe. They're better connected to the force, the intelligence, the energy of the universe. Boy, all of a sudden, man, right? I love being here. I want to make a difference in the world. I feel significant. I'm making an impact in everybody's life. All of a sudden, when I'm in that room and I'm touching somebody and I'm pushing on those vertebrae and I'm getting them to connect, it's a sacred experience. It's something really special. It's significant. It's important. And you know what? And I am too. And I make a difference. And are they going to get it? No. And am I going to get ridiculed sometimes when I think that way? Sure. But you know what? They don't know what I know. They don't know what I know. And that's okay. That's okay. My job necessarily isn't even to make them a chiropractor. My job is to get them to know that what we do here is going to have a profound effect on their life. And I know in my head, it's going to have a profound effect on the world. It's going to make the world a better place because I'm here every day trying to make a difference in people's lives. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing as a chiropractor. You should be proud of it. You should be excited about it. You should feel great about it. You should want to do more of it. That's what we should want to do. And let the naysayers be naysayers and let the critics be critics, and that's okay because you're a chiropractor, right? Guys, I'm Dr. Joe Borio. I think it's so important to have these conversations because I was talking to a young woman yesterday, and she's a trainer. Very, very nice lady. Phenomenal shape, works out all the time. She's in her late 20s. And we were having a conversation at my house, and we were talking about working out and talking about exercise and such. And I asked her, we were talking about the history of training and sports, and I asked her about Jacqueline Lane, and she said, "Who?" And I said, "Jack Lane, the sports enthusiast," because he used to do all the TV programs, kind of virtual workouts, which is what everybody's doing now because of the COVID crisis. She had no idea what I was talking about. She never heard of Jack LaLanne. Boggled my mind. I was like, how is that even possible? The Jumpin' Jack is named after Jack LaLanne, right? How can you not know who Jack LaLanne is? And I realized, a number of years ago, I'd walked the campus at Palmer, and people didn't know who Fred Barge was. People didn't know who Jim Sigafus was. People didn't even know much about Dee Dee Palmer. It broke my heart, and I was like, wow, you know what? We need to get out there, and we need to re-energize, and we need to add some vitality to our history, because these men and women that came before us, they are profound figures in who we are today. And they had a profound effect to this day still about what it is we do. They were people that didn't cower to judgment or criticism. They were people that worked hard to drive a principle. They were individuals that knew what they did was sacred. They were people that said, hey, you know what? I'm going to get out there and do a better job every single day, because I got to transfer a conviction that the rest of the world doesn't know. And it's okay that they don't know, and it's okay that they judge me, and it's okay that they criticize me. That's okay, because what I have is so far important. It's so far beyond what they know. And I've taken the role to teach them, to lead them, to share with them. That's what your job is as a chiropractor. And I'll tell you, if you do that every single day, and you think about that every single day, boy, it just changes everything. It changes everything. When you go in the room, you are participating in a sacred act to make the world a better place. And if you think about it that way, telling you, man, how can you not want to go to the office? How can you not want to see people? How can you not want to do Facebook Lives? How can you not want to share this? How can you not want to do screenings and talks and dinner talks? How can you not want to put stuff out in the paper? Like, how can you not want to talk to people about bringing their kids in? Like, if you think about it that way, how can you not want to share what it is we have with everyone? Just like Dee Dee and BJ and Mabel and Ralph Stevenson, and all those phenomenal people from the past. And my mentors, Jim Sigafus and Fred Barge and Reggie Gold, and so many great men and women in our days years ago. So, hey guys, love and appreciate it. I'm Dr. Joe Borio. I run Chiropassion Consulting. If you found this video to be beneficial for you, how would you like to get a webinar every Tuesday? How would you like to have your CA trained with videos? We've got it. We're set up. We've got a program. We've been in chiropassion coaching for 10 years. There isn't a challenge, an issue, an opportunity, a holdback in your practice that I haven't dealt with either personally, professionally, or I haven't dealt with in the docs, all the docs that I've worked with over the last 10 years and more. So listen, hit the link above, hit the link below. You've got two choices. You can join right now and join our program. You can go right on chiropassionconsulting.com. Click it, and we've got a couple levels of membership, Mastery Gold or Elite. Check them out. There's some videos, and you could call me anytime, reach out to me and have a direct conversation. We also have a 30-minute free coaching call right underneath there. So, hey, maybe you want to talk to me a little bit more before you jump in, and I could appreciate that. Just click that, and it'll set you up on Acuity, and you'll set up a 30-minute call. I'd love to talk to you, learn more about you. Why are you a chiropractor? What's going great in the office? Maybe some things that aren't going great in the office. Or maybe things are going great, but you know what? You just seem to be stuck and you can't seem to get to that next level. Or how to get over and get through some challenges. Love to hear about that. Love to see what our relationship would be like, and then talk about moving forward as your coach. It's always an honor when somebody asks me to be part of their journey. Hey guys, love and appreciate all you guys. And I'll look forward to talking to you on a coaching call, or on a webinar, or on a free coach call with Dr. Joe Borio. Love to have you part of Chiropractic Consulting. Talk to you soon, docs.